Right. 8 May 2022. And unfortunately, my guest, Senator Khaliphani Phugeni, has not managed to join me today for our very, very interesting discussion on events that have been taking place in the CCC. The CCC of Nelson Chamisa is a very interesting political party because it seems like the problems that were in the MDC alliance have been unresolved and they continue to follow the new political party. So what has happened is that this weekend, there has been a massive fallout between CCC President Nelson Chamisa and a number of key leaders. So when I'm talking of key leaders here, I'm talking about all the leaders in the CCC who are Tendai Biti, Job Scala, Karenyi Kore, all these top leaders, they have basically had a fallout with the CCC President Nelson Chamisa. Chamisa was forced to travel to Matabeleland by himself. But the biggest and most surprising is Khhupe and Mahere. Khhupe and Mahere has openly defied Nelson Chamisa on the issue of Dr. Khhupe. Dr. Khhupe has been campaigning very vigorously on behalf of the CCC. She has been going all over Matabeleland campaigning for Chamisa. And unfortunately, this has not been welcomed by the leaders who are currently close to Nelson Chamisa. And I want to mention that Senator Khaliphani Phugeni is now in studio. So I'm going to allow him, I need to notify him that I'm obviously live because he just arrived now. So Senator Khaliphani Phugeni, I'm live now. So I'm going to let you into the studio and then we'll continue with this discussion. So give me a second to let you into the studio. We already have people watching us. So Senator Khaliphani Phugeni, good evening to you. And as I said, we're already live. How are you this evening, Senator?
I'm okay. Good evening to yourself and to the listeners, wherever they may be. I'm pretty sorry. My usual gadget is misbehaving today. So to the extent that the footage is poor quality, kindly excuse me. These things,
no problem, Senator. We can hear you clearly. We can hear you clearly. It's perfect. And I'd already started, I'd given a background of the situation that we have currently in the CCC. And this is with regards to the hard work that Dr. Khhupe has been putting in and the response that she has received. There has been open defiance to the coming back of Dr. Khupe, including from very senior people who have publicly said that Dr. Khupe is not welcome in the CCC. In fact, let me play you a clip before we continue, before I ask you a question, where CCC President Nelson Chamisa had to explain to members why he is bringing back Dr. Khupe. So let's play these two clips, one after the other.
Hi, President, be careful. Sure, crises. Don't trust Khupe. I know, don't touch Khupe. Why are you allowing Khupe? Khupe is not looking for a position. And when told that there is no position, the test for me as a young man, as a young leader in Africa, is to what extent am I able to reconcile and divide the nation? To what extent am I able to forgive those who have done things to us, whether Zambia or another party?
Right, Senator, apologies about the sound quality there. Let's go to the issue at hand. Is it fair for key leaders in the CCC to refuse to accept the coming back of Dr. Khupe?
Well, look, I really do not know much about the ongoings in the CCC, especially in the cockpit. You mentioned that Advocate Mahere is vehemently opposed and she has gone public. So I don't know about that. I'll tell you what I do know about. What I do know about is that in our streets, there is sewage flowing all over. I do know that the roads are death traps. I do know that there is runaway inflation. Our people cannot afford anymore to keep up with this runaway inflation. I do know that our people, according to the World Bank, we already at over 50% of our population living in abject poverty. I do know that the country is grappling with corruption of untold proportions. I do know that the health sector has collapsed. I do know that the education sector is on its knees because the teachers cannot afford to work under these conditions anymore. I can go on and on and on and on. What has been the response of government to all of these ills which I have just articulated? You have hosted, you have muted, okay. What is the government's response to all of these ills which I have just told you about that I can go on and on about? The government has released people like yourself, Prophet Makandiwa, and this other one going by the name of Bishop, and sometimes deny Christianity altogether, basically, or taking away that title, to go out there and basically do propaganda, tell us not to believe our lying eyes, tell us not to believe our lying experiences of day-to-day basis, that there is indeed runaway inflation, that the teachers are being exploited, that the workers are being exploited, the pensioners, their security net has just been drawn backwards. They are really exposed. And I wish you could have the courage for us to discuss those things, not to discuss the fictitious arguments in some political formation that there is some revolt when what we are seeing every day with the results that are coming, they seem to be doing well. So if people are winning and there's supposed to be a problem in their cockpit, but they keep on winning and winning convincingly, I don't think we need to worry about these things. What we need to worry about is how do our people survive under these difficult conditions. Do you have a government that unleashes a Prophet Makandiwa to lie to people and say within 20 minutes his trucks leave the border? It's not possible. An individual, never mind the truck, an individual pedestrian walking by foot, you take more than 20 minutes at the border. You see, now we have your likes seated in South Africa, of course, working to come back home, but you are an economic migrant. Because of the hardships which are experienced in this country, the government has failed you, has forced you with millions of other people outside the country. Those are issues which you must be dealing with. Now, not to speak of this one who's talking about the building on a rock because he gets a paycheck after that. How about the millions of our people whose pensions have been reduced to nothing because of this runaway inflation? That's what I want us to talk about. We really can't be talking about these fictitious problems that are not affecting. Mahere can rebel all she wants against Chamisa. That does not affect any one of us. It doesn't change the value of anyone's life in this country. But what changes our people's lives is a government that refuses to respond responsible to the day-to-day challenges of our people. It is extremely insensitive to tell us that no, we are that the government is victims of its own success. Every time they do good for us, we then want more. Oh, well, maybe Prophet Makandiwa has received all he has asked for and all he deserves from this government and all the promises. We are still waiting. Just this past week, the exchange rate, the parallel exchange rate was 400. It was $1 to 400 Zimbabwean dollar. I don't know this coming week, this week that we've just started, how much it will be. So, and yet the official rate is what was 165, somewhere there. So when the government gives you 165 RTGS, they claim that they've given you $1. And then they then tell people that, by the way, you can charge whatever rate you want. Because these people in these shops, they are not they are not breaking any law, by the way. They were given the right to determine the exchange rate. So the government wakes up in the morning and say, we are paying you equivalent of $400. And yet they tell people in the store that you can charge whatever you want to charge as an exchange rate. And then you get there with your so-called dollar. You get to the store, they tell that, no, this is not $1, this is a 20 cents. Corruption, institutionalized corruption at the grand scale. What corruption? Stealing against the vulnerable, the very poor that the government must be taking care of. Let's discuss that, Kambako.
Okay. Senator, I want to correct a few things.
Your volume is low now.
Okay, I don't know what has happened. Maybe let me exit and come back. So let's take a break. Let me exit and come back. Okay, Senator, I hope you can hear me better now.
Yeah, it's still low, but I can hear you.
Okay. So let me try to address this sound issue. I don't want us to have a sound issue. Just give me a second while I try to address it. Okay, Senator, let's see if it's better. I've taken off my headphones. I probably have issues with my headphones, and I hope this is much better.
Can you hear me at least?
Okay, I can hear you perfectly. I haven't had any issues with your sound at all. I want to correct a number of things. These issues in the CCC are not small issues. They are major issues because they determine whether the CCC will win the election or not. So you heard Dr. Khupe there saying, Umnangagwa kaphume, uChamisa kangene. Chamisa, to get in, there are certain things that need to happen. And these are the issues that we're discussing. How does Chamisa get in? Because if he doesn't sort out the internal issues, I do not think he will get into office. I think you agree with me there.
Listen, you know, my biggest challenge that I have is that you minimize real issues and you inflate issues that are really nothing. Just for a second, I'm just going to tell you the reality. I don't mean to be offensive or to demean anyone. I'm just going to tell you the reality. Mahere is not a player. She's a functionary. So you are not dealing with equals here. She doesn't sit down and get to argue with Chamisa. Mahere contested in 2018 against Chamisa. And she lost heavily so. So when she came in, she did not come in for any other reason except to come in and see how she can achieve her political agenda under Chamisa's umbrella. Right? Now, let me tell you my analysis of the whole thing, why Chamisa desperately needs Dr. Khupe. Historically, the MDC will always have 2 male senators from Bulawayo, 2 male senators from Martin North at the very least. But because of Dr. Khupe's participation, it did not happen in 2018 because she took a sizable chunk of people with her. She has a large following on the ground. And I can tell you this, if people tell me that, they obviously will tell NC that for Mnangagwa to go out, or let me just correct myself, for HE to go out, you will need to be united as opposition. So you will need the over 160,000 people which voted Dr. Khupe's party into parliament. You are also going to need those that did not vote because they were angry with the perceived treatment which she received. Now, with that in mind, you are seated there, you want to be in government, and you can see the logic of it, and you did suffer from it in the last election. Will you sit there and try and nurse other people's egos if indeed the issues you are raising are real? I suspect they are fictitious. I suspect there are no such issues. So it doesn't even need a brain surgeon. It's just pure common sense. You know very well, you are dealing with a massive figure here. This is a former deputy prime minister of the country. There are other people that may not attach any value to it because of their bigotry. I've already told you that. But you can't wish her away. And I'm sure that NC has realized that. So I can tell you that that's your headline, at least which you are putting there. Unless you can put her here speaking or show me her tweet. But even if that was the case, I've already told you, she's a functionary. She's not a player. She does not get to sit down and say, I don't want this, I don't want that, I want this. No, trust me, this machinery will go on. The 2018 results, which you are all mourning about, they did not come about as a result of her efforts. They came about in spite of her efforts.
Okay, Senator, let's hear Mahere speaking. Let her speak for herself.
Near the leadership structures, we haven't even approached that question yet. So, you know, I think it's putting the cart before the horse. It's extremely unlikely that the citizens would choose her, but, you know, that's a matter for the citizens. It's not for, you know, elite pacts to decide who leads this movement. It is a citizen movement, and the guiding ethos is that the citizens come first. You know, but we want to win this nation for change. Our goal is to win the nation for change with 6 million votes in the presidential election in 2023, a 2/3 majority in parliament, clean sweeps in local authorities, and we're going to.
Unfortunately, the volume is so low, come back, I can't hear what is being said.
Impose leaders on the.
Okay, apologies about that. I don't know what's happening with the sound. Obviously, we'll deal with it. But what I'm trying to say to you is that this is not a fictitious thing. Mahere has spoken. Kudamsa Siwa has spoken. It's there publicly on their Twitter timelines. If you look at our public journalist, Hopo Chingono, he has spoken we've got more than 6 tweets or posts by Hopo Chingono saying Khupe should not be allowed into the CCC because she is the one who made Chamisa change the name. Job Scala, he said the same thing. Tendai I haven't heard him. But the majority of the leaders, they boycotted the Gwanda rally because Dr. Khupe was there. They do not want her. Members in the party, ordinary members, do not want Dr. Khupe in the party. They don't even want to talk about leadership. They don't want her as a member at all. Chamisa is the only person who is pushing for her to be in the party with Professor Oshman Ngube. The two of them, they are the ones that are pushing for Dr. Khupe to be admitted. Otherwise, the other members don't want her.
Did you listen to the audio which you played, the footage which you played initially, where NC was talking about why she needs Dr. Khupe there? Did you listen to what whose name the crowd was screaming from the background?
Of course, it was a rented crowd. It was a rented crowd. I did notice that she brought a rented crowd. She was in the home ground of Matabeleland, obviously. She brought her people.
Okay. You see, the challenge I have, Kambakwe, is that I'm trying to have an informed discussion with you. I'm really trying to have an intelligent discussion with you. But if you are then going to basically go back to your propagandist mode and just try and push certain narrative, it's going to be difficult. I had the privilege of being the mouthpiece of Dr. Khupe for over 2 years. I had the privilege of being the mouthpiece of Poland. I had the privilege of being the mouthpiece of MDCT. Amongst all those 3 positions, everywhere I go around this country and even sometimes outside the country, I'm being recognized largely for speaking for her, and what people say about her is amazing. I live in Matabeleland myself. You are outside the country. I'm here in Matabeleland. I walk amongst our people on a daily basis. I speak to them on a daily basis. This thing which you have just said, to say it's only Chamisa and it's only Advocate NC and Prof. Ncube, it's a propaganda message that is pushed largely by these bigots who are pushing a narrow ethno nationalism, which has no place in the politics which can win someone national power. There is no place for that. I can tell you, if you were saying to me, you are on the ground, if you come here and I go with you on the ground and you listen to what people are saying, you'll be amazed. You'll be very
I do not deny that, Senator. I do not deny that she's popular. I know Dr. Khupe. If you go on my timeline, you'll see pictures of me with Dr. Khupe. But do you deny that she is the one who caused Chamisa to change his name from MDC Alliance to MDCT, to CCC, sorry?
It's immaterial in the first place, but factually it's not true. She was not the one. You do remember that the events you are talking about, they happened hardly 3 months ago. And hardly 3 months ago, she was already outside the MDCT. She was already outside the MDCT. She was already recalled from Parliament. When all these events played themselves out, she was not there. So factually, you are incorrect. But again, it is immaterial, because if you ask the people what do they want now, they'll tell you that we want a functioning government that is able to intervene and mitigate against these hardships that we are facing. They want a government that is able to fix roads. They want a government that is able to intervene in a constructive manner in the local government sphere. The national government has intervened in the local government sphere, and we have seen what has happened. No roads, no proper delivery of water, lights gone out because they are taking out all the sources of income, putting it at national organizations. And I'm talking about ZESA now, I'm talking about Zinwa, I'm talking about Zinar. Now you have seen the disaster of public transport, because they have taken all of that, they have monopolized, because they are trying to govern by centralizing. No, you can't. I think I told you that power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. It really doesn't. We don't have to put a name. If you were to give me absolute power, you are going to be in trouble, Kambakwe. So the whole system of devolved governance, it wasn't made with any one person in mind. It's a system that works. when you allow people in their locality to be able to determine their future and be able to run their affairs. And this government is not able to do that. And you call me here to discuss Mahere. I come back when you get time, respect me. Huh? When the country is grappling with so much issues, you call me here to discuss whether Mahere is happy or she's not happy. I don't care. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't change the value of the Zim dollar. She can be angry all she wants. She can be happy all she wants. It doesn't change anything. I want to discuss what the government is doing with this runaway inflation. By the way, this whole thing of saying they're opening a commercial courts which are going to start arresting people, it's a waste of time. It's a joke. That is not the problem. It's a joke. You cannot, Kambakwe, allow every shop in this country to be a foreign currency dealer, because that's basically what they've done. And they've given them the right to determine the rate. Because if you come to Kambakwe Media and you've got your Zim dollar, Kambakwe can charge whatever rates he wants. If you come to me, I can charge whatever rate I want. And then you say you're going to have commercial costs, you're going to arrest currency manipulators. Who's the biggest currency manipulator? The biggest currency manipulator is these stores which were given the legal right, by the way, to determine what rate they will charge to exchange. So the intervention which this government must engage in, if I may come in and assist you, the intervention which this government must assist us with is what Honorable Eddie Cross suggested. Make sure that all domestic transactions are in the local currency. In that way, you will create a demand for the local currency. And by so doing, you strengthen it, at least in terms of this runaway inflation. But right now, when you and me have got this local currency, we are trying our best to convert it to something that can store value. It's either we go to the US dollar or we try and buy goods that will keep that value for us. Because we know that 1,000 today is not going to buy me tomorrow what it buys me today. That is where the problem is. So anyone who comes into this country is not coming to look for this currency because they can transact it with any other currency. And that is where the challenge is. And the dominant one is the dollar, because the dollar is a store of value. It has a reserve value. So it's a no-brainer that everyone is chasing after the dollar. And those that are not chasing after the dollar, they are chasing after goods, because I know that if I miss buying cooking oil today with whatever RTGS or Zim dollar is available today, tomorrow that Zim dollar won't be enough to buy me that cooking oil.
Okay, Senator, you have said a lot, but I want to unpack a few things. Firstly, let's go to Mahere. Mahere is not a non-entity in Zimbabwean politics. She and Chamisa, as far as I'm concerned, if Chamisa was not there, she could easily replace Chamisa as the president of CCC. She's not tainted like BT, Scala, Ngube. Those people had formed political parties before. She's got a clean past from this flag. And I see her as the potential future leader of the opposition in Zimbabwe. So I don't see her as a... In fact, I can add Dr. Khupe on top of the three that I've mentioned. If I put Senator Monzora, Dr. Khupe, Scala, BT, Ngube, they've all left the movement to form their own political parties. So Mahere is a contender for vice president, a top contender. She's not a factionalist, and I think she's representing a bigger constituency when she speaks. And she says she doesn't want Dr. Khupe. She's boycotting all these events where Dr. Khupe is presiding. If you remember, when they went to Bulawayo, did you see Mahere and Dr. Khupe speaking to each other? In fact, Dr. Khupe did not come to the rally because they cannot be in the same place. The fight between the two is well known and it's public. So it's not something that I'm creating. People do not want Dr. Khupe in CCC. And it's only Chamisa. Yes.
Okay. I don't know how to help you any further. I have broken down the numbers for you, and I've tried to show you the logical way. If you don't want to take me, for whatever reason, you don't want to take me, go and look at what Prof. Ncube said. He did break down the numbers so eloquently that any logical person can see what is happening. Now, I did not say she is a factionalist. I said she's a functionary. So basically, I'm simply saying to you, she doesn't get to sit across the table and put her views, and then her president put her views. No, she's there to communicate her president. She's not a decision maker. She carries out the decisions.
We are agreeing. That's what I'm saying.
No, wait, please. Wait. I'm assisting you to understand the relationship between a president and a functionary. I'm just trying to assist you there. That's why I'm saying it's fictitious, because you are trying to create something that doesn't work. When you are a CEO of a company, you are running your media house. I also have a publishing house, by the way. There is a difference between a CEO, managing director, and an assistant. An assistant, this time I'm talking about an executive assistant, which is what she is. She's an executive assistant to a president. So I don't want to belabor things that are not real. They are not real. Her feelings are okay. Her feelings, if it turns out that they are real to you, it's okay. But it does not change anything. At the end of the day, I think NC has done the calculus that I can keep taking people to parliament. It doesn't change anything. His program is to end up a state house and be the one presiding over the affairs of this country. And if he's going to be able to do that, he's going to build a large coalition. And I told you about 2 weeks ago when I was here that he knows better than any of these people you're mentioning. So people can't cry more than the bereaved. Don't forget that Dr. Khupe herself was recalled when later it was proven that she should have never been recalled. As a matter of fact, she was the one who should have been presiding over that part. We don't want to be litigating all these things over and over again. We don't want to go back there. But I'm just saying, you can't cry more than the bereaved. And don't confuse an executive assistant with the principal. No, it doesn't happen like that. She may well be chief of staff.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with that. But she is not the principal.
Okay, so this is why I'm saying we're agreeing. I agree with you that Chamisa is the final word. Chamisa can choose whether Dr. Khupe is in or out. What I'm saying is, what happens if Mahere continues to defy Chamisa on this issue? Because she's defying him. She's openly defying Chamisa. You saw that Kudamsa Sewa quit last week. And the other leaders are undercover defying Chamisa on this issue.
Listen, Kambaka, like I told you, I really don't know if, okay, first of all, I think you're making this whole fight up. I don't think it's there, not number one. Number two, working that it's there, taking your preposition that it's there, it doesn't change anything. I'm saying to you, they are still doing extremely well. If you are to go with the results that came out yesterday, they are doing well. So if it was a relationship of the principal with another principal or his very next in command, I would understand. That is not the case here. At least that's what we are told. So I understand that other people will feel, you know, I've got a dog and a cat at my house. So when I arrive, the cat knows that I've brought it something to eat, and the dog also knows that. So as soon as I drive in, you can see the dog almost wanting to bite the cat. because the dog is almost sensing that I'm favoring the cat, but it doesn't understand. I have to feed it at night before I go to bed, so that then it can work. When it's full, it doesn't try to go out and whatsoever. So I don't feed it during the day. I only feed it at night. So you have gatekeepers in organizations in most instances, and they are busy calculating this and that. And you may be extremely surprised that what we are being told, that Dr. Khupe is not interested in any position, that it is indeed the case. It is indeed the case. That she's not interested in any of this position. She doesn't want. You can see her. She goes there. She sits amongst people. That's basically the person whom I know, by the way. In the 2018 campaign, she got to my rural folk. She stayed there, fell asleep for a bit, took a nap for about 30 minutes, and they couldn't understand that. They just sat there and marveled at this woman. This former deputy prime minister of the country gets into a hut, sits there, gets water from a borehole, drinks it, takes a nap for 30 minutes, seated there. Surprise. But that's who she is. She loves the people so deeply. She works with the ordinary. Those that are worried about their positions, I'm sure that she is not going to fight about their positions. But I must say, I think you're making this whole thing up. It doesn't matter. Right now, they seem to be winning these by-elections. Perhaps me and you need to dedicate much of our time talking about the poor governance that is happening in this country, which has led to many, many crises that people like you and those religious leaders that I mentioned, I can't finish them all because they seem to be popping up almost every other weekend. That are made to try and gaslight all of us to be talking about useless things instead of talking about really bread and butter issues that are bedeviling this country.
Okay, Senator, you see, the thing is, I really think you explained this very well. Like, the way you explained it and the way the CCC is structured, I think you're totally correct. And because our sound is so bad, let us bring this in.
Yeah, raise your voice. Raise your voice, come back.
Yeah, I'm saying because the sound is so bad, let us bring this to an end. Is there anything else you want to say before we close?
No, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity. I'm disappointed because me and you had agreed on a topic. But it's your platform. You just put these things which you want discussed. I have no control whatsoever. I just discover these topics when I come here. So I take, because I know that there are a lot of our people that are waiting for these conversations on a weekly basis. So I take it. I really pray that you will have the courage, as I said in my opening remarks, that you will have the courage for us to discuss real issues that are bothering this country and stop talking peripheral issues that have nothing to do with our people. Absolutely nothing. I have told you that if this organization has got problems in the cockpit and they are winning, what will happen if then they fix these so-called issues, which I doubt they are there. So please, let's talk about runaway inflation. Let's talk about the poor states of our roads. Let's talk about the poor state of our public transport. Let's talk about the poor state of our schools, the poor state of our health delivery systems. All of those things are very, very important, come back, because they will make the difference in the day-to-day lives of our people.
Okay, Senator, I really enjoy talking to you. And as you know, I don't mind being called someone who's working for the Mnangagwa government. Or these things come with the territory, you know, like you saw what happened this week with the Linda Masarira and a claim for 1 million, which I think is totally bogus. But everybody is just being said to belong to someone.
No. I'm disappointed. You are receiving 2.4 million monthly here. And you have left me out when I assisted you in setting up this platform, and you are leaving me out. I need a share of that.
Yeah, you know what, Senator? That is very interesting. Jethro is Rusike JCTV Zimbabwe. He's a good friend of mine. He was just making a skit, and it really went viral. Like, I don't think there's anyone who hasn't seen that skit. Does this face look like I've got 2.5 million a month?
No, they said we are sharing it. No, not only you. We are cutting it amongst your friends there.
Now, let's talk about that another day. I'll be in Zimbabwe in a week or two. We really want to transform the economy, because what I think, Senator, people think the government should do stuff. I don't agree. I think young people should be innovative. The problem with Zimbabweans is they're not innovative. They want the government to do things. I don't agree. I keep pushing the guys in government to give us land. They have not given us land ever since I started last year. I fly to Zimbabwe. I try to talk to people here, and I try to talk to people there. We are just now concluding a deal in Kariba where we are buying land on credit. We have not finished paying as we speak. I'm going to be making the final payment in 2 weeks' time. And this is money which we don't have. We're using credit cards to buy this land. So there's no money that we've been given, but we are still pushing. We are going to push until we succeed, because our young people think the government is going to give you money on the hands, which is wrong. I don't think that is a correct thing to do.
No, we can have a discussion around those issues. I don't think people are expecting money per se. People are expecting to be empowered. There is no nation which is great out there that did not empower its people. People are not going to wake up with capacity to do things from heaven. I am saying to you, as I speak to you today, the rate last week was 1:400. I don't know what it will be this week. We need the government to intervene and sanitize this space for people to be able to do business. One of the greatest tools in business is credit. But right now, you can't operate. You know that the government has officially banned credit, and they have to. Because right now, Kambakwe, if you borrow me 1,000 RTGS, within 30 days, that 1,000 will have translated to about 4,000. Now, what type of an economy is that? So people are expecting government to come in, use tools at their disposal as government to stabilize the environment so that it's conducive for new players to come in, it's conducive for current players to act. But right now, unless you are a dishonest individual, you can't do business in this country.
Okay. Senator, I think the problem that we have, as I said, I'm coming to Zimbabwe. I am going to show you a new model of doing things. There is no person in Zimbabwe right now who has started a company like Gambakwe Media, which is 10 years in the making. And I am the right person, Senator, to show the young people a new way of doing business. What we are doing in Kariba and where we are going with it, it's got nothing to do with the government. It's innovation. Young people in our country, they're sitting on their hands. They are listening to Hopo every day, complaining, posting pictures of potholes, and so forth. These are the wrong approaches. What we need is to change the way we think. And this is what we're trying to show our young people. Don't sit there complaining, hoping that the government would help you.
Kambakwe, let me assist you right there. Let me assist you, my friend. You've been in that country for over 10 years now. You never had to wake up in the morning and you were told that the rand, by the way, it's no longer 1:15, it's 1:30. That has never happened. We in this country have lived when we were told that our RTGS is equal to 1:1 with the dollar. And then we woke up and we were told that no, now there is an exchange rate. That exchange rate will be managed properly. And then we woke up with a judgment from the Chief Justice the judgment saying that debts in US dollars or can now be paid in the local currency on a 1:1 basis. Do you understand how many international investors lost their money? The confidence, the NGOs. So as a consequence, no one in their rightful mind will take that much amount of money and bring it to Zimbabwe, because once bitten, twice shy. I'm saying to you, the conditions which the government has set here have not been conducive for decent people to make money and make business. Let me give you a perfect example.
Senator, don't be a decent person.
Here,
yeah.
Sorry?
Don't be a decent person. Don't be a decent person. A decent person doesn't make money. This is what I'm trying to say to you. The young people in our country, they do not understand capital. They think capital is money. Land is capital. In your village right now, there is land which is lying fallow. People are running to Harare. But in their villages, they've got land. They want capital. They want the government to withdraw money and give them in their hands. I'm flying to Zimbabwe every month once. Where do I get the money to fly to Zimbabwe?
You're getting to South Africa. You're getting it from South Africa. But let me assist you this way. My dad is a very good farmer, by the way. Produces a lot of good produce. But how does he access the markets when there's no public transport? When the roads are so poor? So by the time those goods reach the market, because of lack of proper road infrastructure and even refrigerator trucks, those goods are damaged and they cannot compete in the market because the input costs become too much trying to move it from where it's produced to the market. So that's where government comes in. You see, now we can have a more nuanced discussion around these issues because you are simplifying very complex and complicated issues. Just having land is not enough. After people have land, they must get equipment, mechanization to be able to till that land, and they must get inputs. And then there is that road infrastructure that I'm talking about. You must create markets for them. They need to be able to produce in record time, deliver to market and all those things. That's where government comes in. But don't worry, when you come to this country, you will understand all these things. Because right now you're talking theory. People are
Can I have one last word? Can I put in one last word? Can I put in one last word? I challenge you right now to go to Harare, Bulawayo, Mutare. Every single young person has got that 25 gig from Econet for $30 in their phone right now. They do have that money for data, but they do not have the money. Right now, the contribution that you need to make to get a farm in Zimbabwe, if you're 1,000, if you take that $25 that you're putting in the Econet bundle and you put it together, after 1 year, you buy a farm. Our young guys, they are following crazy people like Hopo who are posting potholes every day. And they think the government is going to wake up and give them money. It won't happen. They have to wake up and start creating solutions in their communities. This is our problem in Zimbabwe. It's not this government which is a problem. You can bring a government from heaven.
Again. You are generalizing again. I don't know of any young person that affords that type of data. I also don't afford that type of data, by the way. I really struggle. I know that I make it a point that I'm here, my connection is solid all the time. But trust me, that's after too much sacrifices. This 25 gig you're talking about, it's a luxury. It's a luxury. We don't get it here. If there's anything that people survive on here, are WhatsApp data. That's what they survive on. The Net 11 allows you to call for those that can call. You have told me over and over again, trying to get a lot of people, trying to interview them. You have failed because they tell you of connection. We don't have data. We're extremely poor here. So I don't know these people you're talking about. It's the circles that you are playing around with. But anyway, it's 49 minutes now. I need to retire. Let's agree to have a more nuanced discussion next time around all of these issues. how our people can be empowered. Even this access of land you are talking about, I think you know very well that I lost my land. I've now been trying to get a very small one where I can even do a homestead. I registered, it's now over 3 months, not even a response. I'm a member of parliament and I'm having it this difficult. Imagine an ordinary person that doesn't even have money to get to town. We are simplifying very, very complex issues. Our people are living in abject poverty when I come back. When you come to this country, please give yourself a week with me and let me show you what we're dealing with. Because you are theorizing a lot of things, because you are enjoying the pleasures, garlic and meat there in South Africa, and you think our people are experiencing the same. No, we are the only one who's eating. We are not eating, we are hungry.
Okay, Senator, I've put my phone on the screen. I am challenging young people. I do not get it. I'm flying, it costs me 20,000 every time I come to Zimbabwe, to and fro and hotels. And I come once a month. You are sitting in Zimbabwe. It costs you zero to go and look for a Minister of Lands, to go and look for a Minister of Small and Medium Enterprises, to look for company registrar, to find other people to gather. I'm putting my number on the screen. I'll be in Zim in 2 weeks' time. I want young people to come and WhatsApp me and we'll come together. There's land that no one is farming. If you drive Mount Hampden Road, soon after Westgate, that land is fallow from January to December. Farms after farms. For more than 100 kilometers, I drive that road when I go to Kariba. And these young people, they think that they will just make it. Let's organize ourselves. Let's stop this business of
my friend,
looking around.
We are theorizing. I'm saying when you come to this country, I will take you to the ministry. I am there. I'm registered. I didn't go alone. I went with other people. I am there. I'm registered. Nothing is happening for a member of parliament. What do you think is going to happen to the ordinary person? You are minimizing. You are downplaying people's plight as if it's really nothing. And I'm saying to you, come here, spend a week with me. Let me just take you around for a week, and then you will realize the difficulties that our people are facing. If you want to empower our people, go and look for a fund somewhere. Come and get a certain number. Let's go and look for a farm or plot or whatever it is, and then we get going. This whole thing of telling people to run there, go there, do what, you come yourself and you go with me. You come and see what is going to happen. You're talking about a country where here in Bulawayo, they give only 20 IDs a day, 20 IDs a day. People start to queue the previous day, 4 p.m. When they close it at 4, there people are already queuing, going to sleep there. The next morning, for some reason, they still don't make it in that number of 20. They still don't make it in that number of 20. And you talk about people who have the luxury to do all these things you are talking about. We are living in Khupe land. We are living in a dream, my friend. Come and face reality here, and you will start to be relevant.
Okay, people are urging me to relocate, Senator, and you are urging me to come and talk to you. I want to challenge young people. I'm going to be there. I'm relocating for sure. And this is not something that I'm just talking. And Senator, I found that doors open for me, not because of ZANU-PF, not because of anything. Although ZANU-PF guys, I see them as people who are also trying very hard. It's not like some ZANU-PF guys are sitting there in another country, not having the same difficulties as everyone else. I just think that our young people, they need to meet the government halfway. The same way that you are challenging the government, challenge the young people to think and to use their hands and to stand up from their comfort zones. They are sitting in comfort zones there in Zimbabwe.
Well, there is nothing more I can say on this subject. I think I've said all that needs to be said. But the truth of the matter is that you are downplaying a very serious issue, and you have no idea how frustrated some of us are. Unfortunately, our people also do not know that we are also living in poverty. You saw a report of what came allegedly from Honorable Kutemba Muliswa, the MPs are living in abject poverty. It's only those that have access to extra income that are able to make it. I think I've told you, a third to almost half of my salary every time goes to some person, I don't know whether for school fees, those that are in government schools, others that are in private schools, but where am I going to get that US dollar? I don't earn in US dollars, I earn in Zim dollars. But I'm just saying, you are my friend, just come and live with me for a week. Just come and live with me for a week. If it wasn't of the fact that I can access money from the diaspora, having lived in the diaspora for such a long time, having my own businesses largely operating in the diaspora for such a long time, I wouldn't be affording all these interviews that I always do with you, this data which you're talking about. It's tough. It's tough, my friend. And you know me now better than most people. I don't give up. I try, I push, I try this and that. But trust me, it's much easier to push if there's something in the stomach sustaining you. But to ask someone who has gone for 7 days without anything to push, I don't know what you're expecting them to do.
Okay, Senator, I really enjoy talking to you. And you know that with this part that we're talking about, you can see the engagement. People love hearing you talking about the real challenges that they face every day. And I want us to, when I'm in Zim in 2 weeks, I want us to take this further. As I challenge the guys, I'm not joking. Let's come together. You and me, Senator, you be in this. Let's try to do something for all the people that are engaged, who want to make money. It's easy to make money if you're educated. If you just get educated, you get degree after degree. Here on this platform, we've got hundreds of people right now with masters, with PhDs, who have never used the PhDs and masters. The day I finished my master's degree, I stopped working. I became a master of business leadership. That's my degree, master of business leadership. And our Zimbabwean guys, they keep learning. Right now, there are people who got 3 master's degrees. We have never done anything with them. These are the people that I want to bring into our circle so that we can change the way we think and stop depending on government. Because government's job ends at a certain place and we need to start somewhere. So it's not a theoretical challenge.
All right, on that note, what I'll do is I've been contacted by a parent who's got a son who did an economics degree, an honors degree. Right now he's doing his master's and was saying, Senator, please do something. And the only thing I could do is to try and look for internship here and there in government circles, which I wasn't even sure if I'm going to make anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to link you up with that parent and that child. And let's give you a challenge there. So you have someone with an honors degree. He is now busy with his master's degree. He's an economics major. Let's see what you can do. Thank you, Kambakwe. Good night and goodbye to our listeners. Until next time. I have to end this thing, otherwise you won't end. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Senator, and good night to everyone.
Kuno aho pano mama wanna get it nice. I know pura meso, I know pura tebe, I know kaya marigi. Kama kweto te como, kweto te como pusa saire. Kama kwe ano kaya marigi.
Kama kwe uyo, ano tara mari, ano kaya mari, karai mamunzu. pane nyaya pano zvamunoda kunzwa zvinotaurwa pano madiko kumunzwa mugovane.com gambakwe vanogaya mari vanotaura mari vanosiya mari gambakwe vanotaura feya kuti pamberi zvichafamba sei vanhu muteerere zvikubatsirei mukufamba kwenyu zvikubatsirei mirai ndikudze kuti chokwadi pano chizere gambakwe vanogaya cash vanopa mafacts vanotaura straight vane evidence vane confidence plus intelligence
entertainment current affairs and news gambakwe.com usasarire gambakwe anogaya mari